Hello everybody, Ninja Gamer here, bringing you Protoss vs Protoss Bronze League Road to Silver. So we are blue, teal, and we are going up against Hepatitis, me, and Zamainer. I am playing again with my brother Tosh, and this is now our second opponent who has a STD as a name. Previously we went against chlamydia, and now we're going against hepatitis. So apparently people like having STDs as their screen names, and we tend to win against those people. So that's a good sign. So we are pretty much going off to a standard start, getting gas and getting the gateway, and we are sending a probe to do recon. Looks like the red team is also doing reconnaissance, going the wrong way, and I guess we guessed correctly, and we are going north. I'm not sure if we both know that we are Protoss and Protoss, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. Looking over here at the opponent's base, they have not started their gas yet, but they are going dual gateway and just about starting their gas and getting an early forge, which I'm not sure we tend to do as Protoss. Interesting strategy nonetheless. In terms of resources mined, everything looks pretty equivalent, and yeah, everything is pretty equal here. Army supply 6 to 0, 21 to 23. Not much going on yet. So we like to go with the cybernetics core as soon as possible, because we tend to go early adept rush and try to get some harass in. We found that adepts are pretty good. You could get around the defense if you're lucky by using the ability that they have, which allows them to kind of become transparent and speed up. And if you guys haven't seen that, I will show it to you in a little bit as we go ahead and try to launch an attack here. We also got a mothership core. We found that that's really helpful in general in terms of having something that could be used as a defense against an early attack here, the photon overcharge. So I'm not sure if this is me controlling the depths or my brother. I think this was me. I chose to play the micro role this game, and my brother was the macro role. And so here we go, going in with the depths. We have a little proxy pylon here. Let's see what kind of Bronze League adept play we can get out of this. Our opponent is going for an early expansion, and so the opponent has 3 zealots, so we should be able to micro this pretty easily. Let's see what we do. So we do have these shades, and the shades go past both the zealots, and we're in for some harass. Oh, but look at that micro fail on both adepts. We get cornered. This is the second time where we've gotten cornered in any kind of harass that we've tried, so I guess that is just our Bronze League microing skills. Let's take a look at the APM here to see how we're doing. They have higher APM compared to us. I'm not sure if that average is combining both players' APMs, since this is Archon mode, but we're never better in terms of APM compared to our opponents. So nonetheless, APM isn't everything. They do have a mothership core. We're taking down these zealots through some micro, so that's good. And here we go again, going through into the main with the shade, but then you can cancel, which is nice. So going for the stalker here, and I decide to pull away, defeated. But we are trying to play aggressively, backing up more units, trying to apply some early pressure just to see just to kind of keep them on their toes. And what we have learned over time is that even if this attack doesn't pan out fully in terms of defeating the opponent, having some sort of presence in front of their base does help in terms of map awareness to understand if they're plotting some sort of attack against you, so you can better prepare for it, especially if you're expanding early and focusing on your econ, which in this game we aren't doing necessarily. But we have both expanded now, and I think he's a little bit ahead of us in terms of the progress of his expansion, but I guess you could say it's pretty much tied, roughly similar mineral count with a similar supply, so things are pretty equal. And I don't know what we're trying to do here. I hope we cancel that. Nope, not sure if we did. He's going in for a third. And another thing we've noticed is that generally the person who has more expansions, or the person who gets to expanding earlier, if they're able to maintain that expansion, does get the edge economically and is able to usually reign victorious over his or her opponent. So we are behind in that sense. They are starting on a third base, we're still on 2 base, but we are going Immortals because I remembered Immortals are pretty good against Protoss, so we're just like, hey, let's get some Immortals, let's see what happens. And he's coming up here, going in for the attack, picking off our probes. We're looking pretty strong with this Immortal here. I think that is one thing that made us stronger than their army in this game, is our Immortal presence and their lack of Immortal presence. So it looks like he's going kind of hybrid. He's got 2 gateways pumping out stalkers. He does not have a warp gate, and he's also going Stargate. So I'm not sure about how effective that is, but let's see how this attack goes. We're coming in, throwing down the force field, trying to disrupt him, pushing with our stalkers and Immortals and Adepts. He does not trigger the photon overcharge. He did try to do something. I think this slows us. We are able to take this down pretty well, and I think throwing down the force fields, I think my brother at this point is controlling, because he is a lot better at microing with Protoss than I am. Void Rays coming out at us. Looks like we're pretty much getting overpowered at this point. Trying to jump in for the probe kill. And let's see how we do here. That does not look like it went well, but let's see. Units killed. So we killed 23 of their units and 13 workers, and they only killed 19 and 3. So I think we have the edge, especially after killing 13 workers. That's pretty good. And the units lost tab. Technically we have lost more resources in our attacks, but I think it's made a difference just because we've killed more of their workers. So they're coming out with a push. Again, a handful of stalkers with some void rays. And let's see what we have to go against that. Some stalkers in, doubling down on the Immortals. We do have an observer here. Again, observers we've found, not that you would necessarily need them in a Protoss versus Protoss, but we have found them to be highly useful just in terms of map awareness and just understanding what your opponent has and how many bases he has, just so we can keep on par with their progress and their unit makeup. Protoss coming in for the harass here with his void rays. This was pretty annoying. We warped in a couple stalkers, and strangely he decides to pull away. That was probably a mistake by him, because with 2 void rays he could have, well, the rest of the army came in later, so maybe not bad decision making there, but he was able to implement a little bit of harass. And we are on 3 base now, So we are pretty much on par with his econ. However, he does have some probes that were not doing anything up until now. And let's see, in terms of our units, we do have more probes in them. We have a little bit more diversity in terms of our makeup of army. We have an Archon. I'm not sure why we went Archon. Yeah, I like Archons. That was probably my fault. Maybe we just had some extra gas. I'm not quite sure. So our opponent is getting his 4th base. He's still doing some harass. And we are now pulling ahead in terms of supply just by a little bit. In terms of upgrade, we do try to keep up to date with the upgrade 101. That's not great, but 110. So pretty much on par with what he has. So let's see how this big fight breaks down. Void Ray and Stalker versus Stalkers and Colossi. Well, blinks right into the Void Rays, takes those down right away. And at this point, we are looking pretty good. I think the moral of the story here is don't go Void Rays when your opponent is going Stalkers. Although that's probably not always true, but in any case, in this game, we do outnumber his army, and my brother is able to blink right over onto his units, and the Colossi are able to make quick work of his enemy Stalkers and his probes, and at this point we are taking the lead, and Zeminar has left the game. So that is pretty much it. We take down that 3rd Expo and see if anything else happens here. And they both leave the game. So that was pretty much it, guys. We had a 4th base starting here. And yeah, I think it all just came down to the unit makeup. Stalkers and Immortals defeated Stalkers and Void Rays. And some general map awareness helped, and just staying on par with the opponent in terms of expanding. Although we were a little bit later in expanding to our bases compared to our opponent, we were able to get enough units to overtake him when we needed to. He did have 2 more expansions coming, but we were able to attack at the right time. So thank you guys so much for watching this game. I hope you found it somewhat useful. And if you did, please consider liking, subscribing, or writing some comments and providing any kind of feedback that you might have. I hope you guys have a great day, and see you next time. Goodbye. We're quickly making progress in the resources lost tab, and Marauder really can't do much.